Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day to day lives. Let's start with the video. Throwaway because all of his and my friends are on this app. And honestly, I don't even know what to say to anyone currently. For some context, though, I met my boyfriend, Avir, during college, the first day itself. I had moved into this city just recently for college, and honestly, the person I was sharing my dorm with was quite a bit of a weirdo. I mean, she would steal my things and never talk to me and till date. I have no idea as to why she acted this way, but well, she did. And I was pretty down about it all because I was hoping to make some friends. Well, I guess Avir saw me in such a state and decided to approach me. Avir, when we first met, was a sweet, nice, kind hearted person with the looks and the personality more. He was an aura that I never saw, and I just knew immediately that I was going to fall for this man, but I decided to wait it out and see where things went. So we started off as friends, and that's what we were for the starting year of our friendship. I mean, I wanted to take time to get to know this guy because after going through several rounds of terrible, toxic relationships in high school, I wanted to be 100% sure that I was making the right decisions because I just didn't want to hurt myself. But of course, little did I know, even with so much precaution and effort, Avir was the one who was going to give me the biggest heartbreak I had ever felt in my entire life. Well, needless to say, though, teen me didn't know that. So I continued letting myself fall for him harder and faster. And you all can only imagine how fast things go as your crush reciprocates the feelings too. And by the end of the first year of college and getting teased by the entire friend group, we began to date. And it was lovely. I truly loved Avir. I mean, there was nothing not to love about him. He was kind, generous, loving, and everything I ever wanted. Hell, even my family was in love with him, and so was his family with me. I was enamored, and I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with this man. But boy, was I going to get slapped in the face eventually with the harsh reality. Well, there's still a long way to go for that because we had just begun dating and were falling in love with each other intensely. Then we graduated from college and got into our master's program, and that is where things started to tumble, just slightly. Well, Avir met a group of guys in our postgraduate school. Now, I'm still of the opinion that although I would never agree in what they believe, their opinions were their opinions, like mine are mine. But the fact that Avir started to follow those opinions and carry himself the way those guys did became a point of concern for me. Those guys weren't just any normal group of guys. They were those alpha male, Sigma rule following type of dudes who just made everyone's lives miserable because indirectly they were hiding the fact that they got zero game over their mask of being hardcore, dominant men who didn't need a woman. I'm not even sure what caused Avir to befriend those guys. I guess it was the dominance and masculinity they pretended to have behind their sexist selves. Hell, just the first time I met them, I just knew I wouldn't get along with these people. I still remember all the comments they had made towards me, towards Avir, because both of us contributed equally around the house by doing the chores, paying the bills, etc. But of course, that wasn't enough for the big, strong dudes. They berated Avir for helping me around the house and berated me for earning equally as him. An argument broke out between us, and Avir just stood there silently. I guess that should have been my first and last cue to break up. But like I said, I loved this man and wanted to be there for him. Things just started worsening from there on because I now had become the hated girlfriend of the group. Hell, even the girlfriends hated me, and honestly, I was glad, unlike Avir, because never in a million years would I want to associate myself with such horrible people. But Avir, on the other hand, tried so hard to fit in. And one day, it just happened. The guys won. They got what they wanted. That was having me cut off from Avir's life. It all started from the trips they took. They were mostly of two types, the guys' trips and ones where they took their girlfriends too, and of course, I wasn't included. Well, they planned another trip this time where all the girlfriends were going to go too, and this time it was no different than the rest. I wasn't included. Well, Avir wanted to go, and I told him that he could. I never ever stopped him from doing what he wanted, but this time things were just a bit different. Avir wasn't the same. He started joking about how there were going to be a lot of girls where he was going wearing short, tight dresses, and he wasn't sure if he'd be able to get his friends off of them. I, too, joked back, saying if he lays a hand on them, he should be ready to know that we're done and over. I guess he didn't realize that I was joking, after all, because right on the first day of the trip, I had to face the biggest heartbreak. It was one of the girlfriends who sent me a snap in the middle of the night. I opened it because I thought it was just one of those snaps they'd all send me to get me jealous, but boy, was I wrong. It was far from it. It was a video of Avir kissing a girl. I have no idea who that is, but I'm assuming it's a local, but it was heartbreaking, but I knew what I had to do. So I pulled out my phone and screen recorded as much as I could. I guess neither Avia nor the girlfriend knew they had sent me the snap because the next day they acted as normal as they possibly could by me. On the other hand, I was devastated. I knew there was no going back from this and started preparing to mourn for this relationship, all the while waiting to see just how far this man was able to go. And boy, he truly did cross a limit. It was the day he returned from the trip. He was suddenly all lovey-dovey towards me, as if he just hadn't messed with another woman. I still took it all, though, because apparently he had a for me that night. It was a dinner date. I got ready in the best outfit I could, just to be horrified as I found out that it's his entire friend group with their partners there. Well, I put up my best act of pretending to like them, and we had a pretty decent meal. It's only toward the end of the meal, though, that suddenly the waiters are getting us a piece of cheesecake, and suddenly really nice music is playing, and I'm just sitting there stunned, wondering if this is really happening. All his friends get up as Avir gets down on one knee and makes a snide remark saying how they're ready to accept me as long as I keep their friend happy. I froze, but I knew this was the perfect opportunity for me to get my revenge. I just pulled out my phone, put on the screen recording, and put it in front of Avir. He looked like he had seen a ghost, and so did all of his friends. I simply just asked them, "So, you still want me to accept him?" before getting up and leaving. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I feel like there was a huge scene that ensued right after I left because my phone hasn't stopped blowing up by everyone, including my own family, berating me for rejecting Avir. So, Reddit. AITA? Hi all. I was reached out to by Avir's best friend Jason, who I only agreed to talk to because he promised to tell me the whole story that went down after I left. That too, because I sent him the screen recording to prove that Avir had indeed cheated, and honestly, it all makes sense because the fact that even I would have never believed that Avir cheated unless I knew he was hanging out with those freaks and hadn't joked about cheating on me previously. Well, I guess Jason made sure to send the video to everyone that I had been trying to side with Avir, and according to Jason, things have just sort of worsened, but honestly, to me, as long as everyone knows what a horrible person Jason has become, I'm ready to face such a situation. Jason and I haven't had the time yet to sit down to have a clear discussion about the whole situation. I will make sure to update this post whenever that happens. Jason was finally free to meet me and told me everything that transpired after I left the restaurant. Apparently, a lot of people made comments about Avir's cheating, and even his friend group shamed him for not being able to cheat well. Just goes to say how weird these people are and how they flex on weird things. Well, I guess Avia then went full on psycho mode and told everyone a completely different story, that it was me who rejected his proposal out of the blue and just accused him of cheating. The impact and respect that people had for him led them to believe him with ease until the video came out and suddenly everyone was against him. Jason asked me if I would like to meet Avia one last time because he wanted to meet me and show me what I was missing. And I told him that I would think about it. I haven't made a decision on that yet, so I would greatly appreciate any suggestions. Hi, all. Here's my final update. I didn't end up meeting Avia because in my heart, I just couldn't find myself, talking to him ever. At least for now and for a long time, I don't need any closure on this situation because I know what kind of people these guys were and how much they pressured Avia to make this decision. But of course, in the end, it was him who made the conscious decision to cheat, and I cannot forgive or accept him for that. One after the other, both my side of the family and his apologized to me and have made active efforts to try to support me, which honestly means a lot. As for Avia, though, it seems like slowly and steadily the change in him is showing to other people too. And everyone, one after the other, is just leaving him, including his macho man friend group, who claims that he's not eligible for being in the group because he's not fun enough. My heart breaks for Avia, but I know everything he's going through currently is a creation of his own. I hope someday both him and I receive peace of mind. Thanks, everyone. NTA, I knew he was not joking. He had been telling you his intentions all along. Rude, inconsiderate, immature, wildly inappropriate, and manipulative. Good on you for dumping that wannabe jerk. NTA, disrespect is not a joke. Cheating is not funny. Good on you for taking a stand and showing him that you were the wrong one to mess with. My older sister, 41 female, and I, 23 female, have been somewhat estranged for several years. It began when I was 18, shortly after I received my autism diagnosis. The diagnosis caused a noticeable shift in the way she treated me. I went from being the sister with a few quirks to the difficult one who had no hope of a decent future if she didn't have someone to baby her. She also feels that I am not trustworthy after a couple of incidents regarding my mental health shortly after high school. Since I started dating a friend who I will call O 6 months ago, my sister has gone off the rails. From what my family has said, my sister has a problem with O's religion. O, 24, male, is Muslim but is pretty lax about it. I find this odd because one of our aunts was married to a Muslim who was willing to be my godfather when I was born. The problem my sister has with my relationship with O has escalated dramatically. I have noticed that each time O and I plan a date, my sister needs a babysitter. I find this odd as their youngest son is 6 months old and still dependent on my sister. The other two children, 7 female and 5 male, are at the age where they need supervision, but I trust my niece to watch her brother if arrangements can't be made. Yet my sister insists that I take care of her children, despite the fact that she could have our mother or aunts watch them. I finally put my foot down and told her that if she expected me to babysit, she must give me prior notice. I also told her she would have to pay me $20 for the entire night. This proposal sounded reasonable, and my mother agreed because she felt boundaries had to be set. My sister was pissed about this suggestion and attempted to pull the relative obligation card. The stunt my sister decided to pull last week was the last straw. O and I were supposed to go to dinner at a restaurant. We had a reservation for 6 weeks in advance. I was getting dressed when my sister showed up an hour and a half before O was supposed to pick me up to drop off her kids. To say I was pissed is an understatement. My sister knew the restaurant had a long reservation list but didn't seem to care. Our mother was already out with friends, so nobody else was at home to watch the kids. Instead of canceling my plans, I told my sister she had to find someone else to babysit or stay home with her children. My sister was livid, calling me horrible names and accusing me of caring more about my boyfriend than my family. I slammed the door in my sister's face, telling her I wouldn't deal with her until she acted like an adult. I also reminded her about the previous rules I had set about babysitting her kids. My mom and other sister are on my side in this situation. However, the rest of my family thought I was immature and that I should be grateful to spend time with my niece and nephews. I don't see what they see, but I could be wrong. NTA, if the rest of the family are upset by you sticking to your previous agreement regarding watching your sister's children, by all means, they may volunteer to watch your sister's children with no notice. It's only a problem because you were inconvenienced, not them, which is hypocrisy. NTA, but 7 is not old enough to look after a sibling. Also, remind your sister that she didn't think you were capable of looking after yourself when your autism was diagnosed, so why is she trusting you with her children? Next, tell any relative that said that you should take them in because of being family, that you are so happy that they are volunteering to watch the kids last minute. Say they can enjoy the time with the little ones since they are family. If they live far away, then say you are so happy that they are willing to pay for a last minute babysitter. And how would they like to transfer the money? I, 21 male, have been collecting Pokemon cards for a few years. I have spent £1,000 and spent countless hours collecting specific cards and sets in the right condition. The entire collection is worth approximately 15 to 20,000 pounds. However, in total, I have spent around 10,000 pounds in all the cards as I just knew what to buy and managed to snag some good deals. I had been at university for the last few years, and whilst I was away, I kept the majority of my collection at my parents' house, which is where I stayed when not term time at uni, stored safely in my cupboard. My brother, 24 male, who lives at my parents' house and is aware of the collection, as are my parents, however, they were not aware of the value of the cards, just that I collected them and they meant a lot to me. I just came home recently after term time, finished at university, and when I came home, my collection of Pokemon cards was nowhere to be seen. I asked my parents and they said they were not sure, but when I asked my brother and he denied knowing anything, but I could tell he was lying. I kept pushing it and got my parents involved, and eventually he told me that he needed money and sold my cards to a local shop for £1,000. At this point, I went crazy and screamed at him and had to leave the house to cool down because not only did he steal the cards and sell them for 1/10 of the value, but also this was 90% of my money because I had invested it all in the cards. Stupid, I know. After returning home, my brother and parents spoke to me and apologized. My brother offered to pay me back £1,000 and I explained how much the cards were worth. At this point, my brother laughed, as he didn't believe me until I started to show him on eBay. Then he got mad and said he could not give me more than £1,000. My parents were also shocked, and I still don't think they really understand that they are worth so much, as they are taking my brother's side and saying it is too much for pieces of cardboard and that I should accept the £1,000. I have spoken to the shop and they have already sold 90% of the cards, as it has been a few weeks since my brother sold them. Nothing has changed in the last few days and I haven't spoken to my parents or brother, and I am demanding that I get at least £10,000 back. They are flat out refusing and saying £1,000 is it. As a result, I am considering reporting this to the police and seeing if I can take legal action. However, my brother does not have a lot of money and he cannot afford to pay me £10,000 at once. Additionally, I am worried he may lose his job and my parents will keep siding with him. But I am not sure what else to do. Would I be the a-hole to report this and use legal proceedings to try and get my money back? Go make that police report. I've had a good experience with the UK police and CPS. I think there's a good chance the police won't dismiss the theft as trivial because they're kids' cards. Go in with the information showing how expensive the cards are. Your parents are full of shit. Your brother knew those cards were more than pieces of cardboard, otherwise, he wouldn't have stole them. Go to your local police station with all the info. They will take your report and then contact you. Who knows if CPS will take your case, but your brother will be wetting himself while they decide. NTA. Does your mom have a nice engagement ring or any jewelry that's worth more than £5,000? Would phrasing it like this help at all? So if I just went into mom's room, rummaged around her stuff, found her ring, took it to a pawn shop and sold it for $1,000 and then refused to give her back anything but the $1,000, it would be okay, right? Since it's really just a rock on top of a hunk of metal after all. NTA, your family sucks so bad. I'm sorry.